Milton Teahjay, Senator of Sando County, is now live in our studio. Senator, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, sir. Thank you for inviting me.
And how are the family?
Everybody's doing well. Thank you so much.
You've been back home in just recent time. I'm sure you just returned to Monrovia. How are people back home?
Well, everyone is okay as far as I left them. The problem, which is not only unique to Sino, is the issue of the roads. The roads are very, very bad. And because of the bad roads, prices are skyrocketing. Citizens who don't have the kind of income, they are having difficulties trying to make life meet, So, as far as I reflect, the last time I was there, the issue on the ground is the issue of the road.
Now, let's look into Sando County, Senator J. Milton Teahjay. Your people are there, and I'm sure they are upbeat about your representation, you and others who are at the Capitol building. If you were to assess your performance, yes, I know you resigned from the caucus. I know you explained that. But on a general note, if you were to assess your performance in impacting the lives of our people, what can you say regarding that?
Thank you, sir. But it's difficult to do a collective review of individuals who are elected from different facets, from different backgrounds. The only thing that unites us is to do the people's work. But each district has unique needs. And so that makes it difficult to say, well, everybody is doing the same thing. And here on the show today, I should assume that each one of us is doing what we were elected for by the people in our different jurisdictions.
But the thing is, Senator Teahjay, there should be collective effort, and that's the reason why people formed the caucus, so as to collectively tackle the situations back home and then impact the lives of the people. But here you are not part of the caucus anymore. How do we compromise your intention to help your people, your commitment with the decision you've taken to deviate from your colleagues?
Well, caucus, but let's be clear on the purpose of the caucus. And you are right. The purpose of forming a caucus is to have a political union amongst elected delegates of a particular jurisdiction. Sando being no exception. And when you have a caucus, in my mind, there has to be a definitive direction as to where a caucus should be heading. First, before that direction is declared, there has to be an understanding as to the issues in the county, how those issues will be tackled, how those issues can be funded. And once that clarity is achieved amongst the members of the caucus, then you begin to pursue the individual items that constitute that clarity. Unfortunately, for the past 6 years, since you've all been in the caucus, there has not been any such thing called a definitive declaration as to what we should do as a group, because except for recent time where we have not been receiving legislative project funds, but at the time those funds were coming, every legislator was making a decision as to what they wanted to do in their location. You have District 1, you have District 2, you have District 3. The most the officers with the most expended latitude in the county in terms of having scope are the senators, because we are not limited to a particular district.
Surely.
So, and perhaps that's why the government at the time used to give a little bit more than the representatives.
Yeah.
And so on this show, if you push me to be specific, I can do a brief indication as to what I have done with the money before we started having the backlog, what I've done with the money that they have given me. And so if you have the time and other PACA members are here, maybe they will speak for themselves what they did with their own money. But there's no such thing called pulling the money together to say, well, we're putting our money together and we are going to do this. Even that's not only Sando, but all the counties, no caucus members.
Yeah, surely. Now, the reason I want to ask you, Senator Teahjay, as to how our people's lives are being impacted. I spoke with one of your brothers from the county, Representative Duncan, Craig Duncan, and the picture he painted was as if absolutely there's nothing has been done for our people except when he entered the House of Representatives. You made reference to the issue of education, how it's impacting the life of our people, the issue of transportation, getting our people buses and all of that. And he emphatically indicated that absolutely no son of that kind had been able to impact the lives of his people in the faction that he's doing. So it brings me to question your intention, your commitment to your people, because you've been in Sando, you've been representing our people or being the senator for quite a long while now. What is it that we getting to know about all of these major achievements except one of your brothers winning?
Well, so I cannot speak for Mr. Duncan. I'm sure he was here and he spoke for himself.
No, I'm asking you because that's what the said. He indicated that he has not, the way he met Sando County, he has not seen some of the major achievements he's making now until he got into the parliament.
Well, you have to go on the ground and see which achievements he is claiming that he has done, and maybe he has done those. Like I said, I speak for myself. I don't speak for Mr. Duncan. I don't speak for the members of the caucus. I speak for myself.
But I'm sure you've seen some of those.
No, come in just a second. The danger coming out here, BC, and having a talk show for the Moravia people to listen to you, is that perhaps even on this show I could be laying claims on things that I will be telling people in Moravia that I'm doing, which actually don't exist on the ground. So to come here and say the county was a backward county before he became a representative is to indicate or is to imply that all of us that were in charge of the county before he became representative were doing nothing. And again, I'm taking from what you said.
As we speak now,
I do not believe that Mr. Duncan will come here and lay such a claim. Because, take for example, education. Maybe you should have asked Mr. Duncan, how many scholarships has he given out to some children to indicate that he's investing in education? I don't know. I don't know how many he's given out. Maybe you also could have asked him, how many Sando children he has impacted by putting bread on their tables? Because most of our people in the county, they have their families. They have to make sure that they make ends meet every day. And maybe he can tell you how many persons. I'm not talking about the few persons in our various offices. I'm talking about also our offices. Maybe he's the only person doing that. But I know that there are lots of people.
I'm sure you saw some major.
Then you go further beyond that and get the infrastructure. If you get the infrastructure, and I don't know the categories that he spoke on, but infrastructurally in Sino, nobody needs to tell you what Milton Teahjay is doing in every district.
In every district?
In every district. Because if you go there, you will see it. You go there, you will hear it from the people.
Well, what are you
This
doing?
is not an ELBC talk.
No, no. Senator Teahjay, what are you
Take for
doing?
example. You take for example. You get into Joazon, which is the area when you leave Grand Jita. You get to Joazon. The first district when you leave Grand Jita is Joazon. If you get to one of the towns called Common Town, which is part of the larger Bedebo Creek area, there is a city hall which is under construction. And if you hear, maybe, I hope some people in the country will call to either confirm or disconfirm. There's a city hall that has a capacity of between 250 300 persons.
Still under construction.
Under construction.
All the years you've been in the parliament.
No, you told me to enumerate. So, not all the years.
Okay,
So
still under construction.
Yes.
Yeah, let's hear you.
So there is that city hall in Common Town that is under construction, being built by me. Then you leave Common Town and go to Basin Town. There is also another modern town hall under construction in Basin Town, being built by me. Then you leave Basin Town, you go to Wakaba District, which was just created, which was operationalized a few days ago by President Weah. There's a community called Waja. And Waja is one of those communities that doesn't have access to road. So getting there to do something for the people is a difficult proposition. If you go to Yawi Town, which is the district seat of Lower Waja, there's a modern town hall which has been erected. Right now, as I speak, they are working on the break to start erecting the walls. And the excitement amongst our people is of such that they're not even waiting for the projects to complete. They are already beginning to use
But
the project.
the thing is, Senator Teahjay, you are, I'm coming.
No, let me
You are
finish.
listing projects that are under, that are still being constructed.
Yeah, because so wait, someone
We
don't
expect
rush.
that,
No,
Senator Teahjay.
wait, don't rush, someone. Project has to start before it can be completed. You don't just go and say, well, everybody kneel down and
It
pray.
should have started long since.
Exactly.
You've been there almost 10 years in Parliament.
No, you see that. Nobody in Parliament has 10 years tenure. I've been there for 5 years, running into 6
Well,
years.
Senator, so all your projects are
So
going to be
give me
completed.
chance.
Because you've been
If you
receiving.
leave Joazon and you get into Buto, the only person that I know of, unless citizens call, who started from beginning to end and built a modern elementary school, is Milton Teahjay. And that elementary school is in operation as we speak. When you leave from there, you go to Greenville.
That's the only project in operation so far.
No, give me a chance, Abo. And you want me to tell you the progress I'm making? So you get into Greenville. Before now, all of the nurses in the Sano hospital called the FJ Grant Hospital, they were riding motorbikes to go to work. They were in the rain, in the dust to go to work. And if you go and see, I donated a high Toyota bus to the nurses of Sano County and the hospital, which is referred to as the nurses shuttle.
Just recently.
Well, about a year or a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Then you leave Greenville, you go to Kabata. When you get to Kabata, there is a modern city hall that has been constructed and completed. And that city hall...
Two of your projects now constructed and completed.
Well, you take
No,
your notes.
I'm taking notes.
Take your notes.
Just 2 projects now.
So the city hall or the town hall has been completed in Kabata. And so these town halls and city halls, which I'm enumerating, you have to keep in mind, the legislative project fund doesn't flow anymore. These projects are coming from the pockets of legislators. So you have the balance between what you use to maintain yourself and what you put in your constituency. So that project is finished. As we speak, the transmitters the switchboards, and other accessories necessary for a radio station incalculable. The station, the radio station itself, the structure has been constructed. It's only because of the road that we have not been able to get a technician on the ground to operationalize that station. Then you come to government camp, which is in Gray.
We'll give you 2 minutes.
And Gray, all the projects I'm going to, I'm not.
We have other things to discuss.
Oh,
You can't be naming your projects until the program ends.
But you know, I wasn't the one who bragged about naming projects.
No.
You raised the issue.
But I did
and
raise
you were
the
asking
issue.
me, what have you done? Now I'm explaining to you
You
what
named,
I have
you
done.
named a couple of projects that are still under construction. So
No.
only 2 projects so far we understand.
So let's assume that they are under construction. So what?
They should have been completed since.
How do you know?
5 years?
So you don't even understand the difficulties in getting construction materials from the town to Sino. Even to transport your physical
Unlike
body.
your colleagues are racing up projects and the projects have been completed.
Who are the colleagues?
One of your colleagues are Crypto Duncan. I'm
What
sure you
project
follow
has he
it.
completed that you want to hold me to the
But
Yeah,
so
that's what-
you know.
Well, let me tell you this. There is something in the project circle they call white elephant projects.
What is it?
Okay? The white elephant projects in the NGO circles, they are things that you go in an area and you tell the people, this is what I'm here to do. And not asking them, what is it that you want me to do? And so you end up doing the project and nobody uses it. Now,
So
let me give Mr. Duncan his credit.
Okay.
He has built some buses, bus stops
Thank you.
in Greenville.
Which your people are using?
No, Kosovo.
No, I'm just asking.
Do you use bus stop where there are no buses?
But
That's what they call it, bus stop.
are there no buses?
You got motorbikes? All over the town, there's no bus.
Creighton was able to secure about 2, 3, 4, 5 buses. And
Well, let Creighton Duncan or Honorable Duncan call you now on this air, or let somebody from Sounder call you that there are buses on
I
the
hope
ground.
you're not paying a color.
No. I'm not into that kind of business.
Okay.
Only weak people go around planting people to call you on their behalf. So let me give him the credit. I saw bus stops that he built.
You saw it visibly.
Yeah, I saw bus stops that he built. The question is, bus stops are for individuals who go to work for buses to ride buses. So you build a bus stop, and there's no bus. Everybody in Sound all over the country, they're using motorbikes. Okay? So if you say, well,
You saw some training centers also that he put in computers and other things for the young people to learn.
No.
To be computer literate.
I have not seen.
Didn't you see that?
No, where I'm coming. And don't push me to admit what I have not seen.
I'm not pushing you to admit.
Yeah, I have not seen any training center. Now, that doesn't mean it's not there. I have not seen it.
Okay.
Maybe he has built a training center, he has computerized it, or put computer in it. I have not seen that. Maybe he did it yesterday or last week. Because I'm always in Greenville. And if it is that, then I should commend him for that. But let me go ahead. And as we speak, you have people, workers, who are now completing a city hall in Diambo. Diambo is one of the districts, is one of our central districts. And as you leave Diambo, you go into government camp. My team is in government camp, also completing the town hall that I'm building for the government camp citizens. And when you leave there, I can go on, and let me not take the whole time, but
Yes, surely.
yeah, I can go on, leaving all projects I'm doing. And this is not to say Creighton Duncan or Peter Paul or anybody is not doing projects. I am concerned about what I'm doing.
So
if you say there are buses in Sino, then maybe those buses around last night. I have not seen any bus in the street that citizens are using. And if you say he brought buses, that may be true. I don't ride buses when I go to Sino. I ride my cars myself. So maybe citizens there are riding the buses.
okay.
And if that was you done, then I want to commend him, but I have not seen buses.
Okay, so let's come to the issue of the caucus, Senator Teahjay. You indicated that you initially did not see the sort of directions where the caucus was going. But the point is, how do you explain to your people back home that you are not part of a group of people who they do expect that you've been part of and worked with to improve their lives.
But somebody, you are making a mistake. A caucus does not improve the lives of citizens.
You make collective decisions.
Let you answer the question.
Decisions get towards.
When you ask the question, I think you are entitled to a response. Caucuses don't improve the lives of citizens because they don't have money. Nowhere in this country where caucuses have money in the legislature. The caucuses are social political clubs. Okay? Now let me respond. They are social political clubs.
When did you realize that? When did you realize that?
But it's been like that all the time. I don't mean realizing it. It's been like that all the time.
Now, so is it on that basis that you resigned from the caucus?
You asked me why I left the caucus, and I lay out a premise that my own idea of a caucus is that a caucus must have a definitive direction as to where it wants to go as an organization which constitutes a composite of all elected officials. I didn't see that. And I'm not denigrating anybody. Maybe those who are there, they're having a lot of fun. And I'm not impeding what they want to do. But right now, I tell you, I'm making much progress in Sandro than I made when I was a caucus member.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. And that's what is on the ground.
So you were...
And the other thing I want to do, caucus, the other thing I want to let you do, Sabo, I hope and pray that one day you will leave the microphone here, BC, in Painesville, and go to Sino and see it for yourself. Whether what we are telling you here is what is on the ground.
No, you
because when it's easier to come on the radio and lay claims on things that are not in existence, when in fact they are not in existence.
Senator, you are giving us the impression that you have not been able to work or impact the lives of the people with all the projects now that you are claiming.
Maybe you are getting that impression.
No, that's the impression.
No, that's
because you were being undermined by your caucus members.
No, caucus members have not undermined me because to accept that caucus members have undermined me is to accept that I have failed, which is not the case.
But you said you haven't been, you are unable to carry on all these projects that you're making.
No, you are using
because we're part of the caucus.
Don't put words in my mouth.
I'm not putting words in your mouth. No. You said you said it.
I said there was supposed to be a definitive. Now, I mean, you're speaking English very well.
You are saying.
I'm saying there should have been a definitive direction.
Yes, surely.
That we all should have signed onto. I didn't see that. So if there was not a definitive direction, then I was not the one.
You said you are now undertaking projects that you were never undertaking when you were part of the caucus.
I'm saying...
So in other words, the caucus has been undermining your effort.
No, caucus maybe it's been undermining its own effort. Because you see, so caucuses don't do anything in any country except where those individuals have a direction that they all agree upon. And right now, as I tell you, I'm very pleased. I'm very happy. I'm very productive. I'm achieving my goals. I don't necessarily have to be a member of the caucus to achieve what I'm doing. Because in the end, the people of Sano will reward me for what I've achieved in their lives, not for being a member of a caucus in any particular manner, shape, or form.
Don't you think you quitting from your people, don't you think it may likely...
You are quitting from your people.
But you are not part of the caucus.
Yeah, but I'm not.
So it means that you're not part of the body that's supposed to be speaking on behalf of the people.
No.
You're speaking individually.
But I was elected individually.
No, but you joined the caucus. Don't you think that could undermine your intention for the senatorial bid in the future to come?
If anything, let me tell you this. First, let me correct the perception that you have developed. Do you not know of representatives or senators who have left the caucuses and they have made progress in the counties?
I'm only knowing about you now.
Then you're not following the history of the legislature or the history of legislators. A legislator gets elected or re-elected based on his achievement on the ground, not being a member of a caucus. Now let me tell you this. If anyone in Sano County, in Liberia, believes that they can go to Sano and put out their hand and say, I want to challenge Teahjay, then come. I welcome that. But I promise you, and take this promise to the bank and lock it up in a vault. If anybody ever makes that mistake, I hope it will not be a sitting representative. Because let me tell you what I will do. First, I will make sure I will dethrone you from the representative position. Then I will beat you on the field as senator.
What do you draw your strength from?
Because my strength is from my people. My people love me. They trust me. They see the things I'm doing on the ground. I don't lie to them. I don't betray people who and myself work together. I'm not a treasurer person. And I don't go around after abandoning people, going around apologizing over the place. Oh, I'm sorry, I abandoned this one. I'm sorry, I kicked them behind.
Who did that?
Well, you have to find out who did that. But I'm saying those are not the attributes I have. That's why my people love me. And Chapa, let me tell you this. I told you on this same station some time ago, I think 2013 or 2012, that I was preparing to be senator of Sano County in the legislature. And you thought I was joking. And I think some people call and they made all the Broad Street and Gully Street calls, some of them condemning this and that. In the end, where are we? But let me tell you this. If there is anybody in Sando, be a caucus member, be anybody from any district, you want to challenge me, you're welcome.
You seem to be offering empty threat, man, Senator.
Oh, empty threat? Well, then go to Sando and see. If the threats are empty, go to Sando and see. And caucus, server, when your people give you an assignment, focus on it. Do your best. If your people put confidence in you, don't betray them, don't disappoint them. I have a special contract with the people at Sando. And that contract was at 3 levels. That my first and primary concern was to make sure I was send Sando children to school. And go to the UMU. Go to AMEU. Go to Cottington University. Go to Stella Marie. Personal scholarships that I've offered to individuals. Some of them have graduated in the county. Some of them are nurses in the county. I kept that promise to the Sando people because I know that our people don't have the kind of resources to send their children to Monrovia. And I'm not just talking about paying tuition. Ask people who are on my scholarship, who are now graduated. I pay your monthly rent. Every month I make sure you have a half bag of rice. I make sure your tuition is paid. And that's the kind of thing when you talk about impacting the lives of your people. That's the educational level. Now let's go to the employment level. Because when a person graduates, or those who have graduated, they must have access to job. Now you were here the other day when I think Front Page Africa was narrating the amount of people I took to places that got employed and this and that. And that's my job. As a senator, I am under obligation that the young people of Sino who have suffered to get education, whenever I hear of a vacancy in an area, it is my obligation to go there and intervene on their behalf for them to have access to employment.
Okay.
Now, let me see if anybody will call this here and say, Mr. Teahjay, when you are saying whether you are lying, you are not giving people jobs. Nobody from China will tell you that.
Okay, you're listening to the Bumper Show right here on the OBC 9.9 and other frequencies across Liberia. On this final lap of the program, as Senator J. Milton Teahjay is our guest on this final lap. Now, let's transition. What was the basis on which you took the Front Page Africa to court?
Well, you see, theoretically, I'm a broadcast journalist. I know the nuances of journalism. I know the ethics of journalism. I don't practice them because I'm not in practical journalism.
Sure.
When you make an allegation against a public official or against any individual for that matter, like that the official has received bribe and so on, those are not small allegations. When you receive bribe under our law, you have committed a criminal offense. When you receive bribe under our law, it means you don't have a caution to do something which is within your scope of authority as a public servant, but that people are buying you to do that piece of job. And that's what the Front Page Africa did.
But were you bought? Were you given money?
Well, I think that answered the question.
So why?
You asked the question, now wait. The
You were not
Now,
bored. Why were you bothered with that?
What?
By dragging and listening to the court.
Yeah, no, I was not bought. But how many people will believe me if I say, no, I was not bought? That Councillor Wabudubi didn't give me money. I don't go taking money from people who go to get confirmed. People who go to get confirmed, you evaluate their credentials, you do your research on their integrity, you do a research on their character, and once they fit the standards, you got to confirm them. They don't give you money on Capitol Hill. I don't know about other people, but for me,
That's what I'm saying. You did not receive money from him.
They fight that a newspaper will go to the length of accusing a sitting
You
senator.
could dismiss it as a fallacy instead of you dragging the people to court.
No, when you dismiss it as a fallacy, then you have not proven yourself as being innocent. You must go to court because you were publicly accused.
What's your relationship with Minduku? What's your relationship?
Oh, he was the chairman of the governance commission, which was one of the committee that I chaired. Then he went on to the National Election Commission, which also was on my committee.
So you had a close tie with him. You have a close tie with him.
Well, I don't know what you call close.
A very good friendship with him.
No, I interacted with Councillor Wabudubi.
On a friendly note.
Well, on the political
So it means that money could be exchanged and there's nothing.
Yeah, now you see.
No,
so
I mean, I'm asking.
that's the kind of thing I like. It means money could have been exchanged. And so somebody deductively said, because I was close to Wabuduki, he came to my committee to get confirmed. And so since we were friends, or since we are political allies, then money was being exchanged. And that's okay. But I'm saying now, you are the one accusing me, I am the accused. Now we need to get a third party to see whether you can prove. And in journalism, you don't have to tell me, Teahjay, but go to court and say, oh, what the thing Mr. Teahjay talking? You have the evidence here? This the picture we took? Or this is somebody recording who said, yeah, he was there when you got the money from Wabuduki. So this is an issue that borders integrity, character, the future.
So that on that basis you went to court? On
that basis, I want to make sure that in the future, you and any political official in this country will be secure. People should not just get and go accusing anybody. I don't have anything against Front Page Africa. I think they do a great piece of job at whether the information they disseminate is true or not true, but to the extent where they will just go and I'm not the first person that Front Page has ever accused and lied on. I mean, though, it hasn't come to the level now where it would be feeling that they lie on me. But Front Page Africa, the editor-in-chief had to go to jail for many months in this country for lying on Dr. Chris Doe. He said Crypto received hundreds of millions of dollars and allowed some virus on plants in this country.
So you want to repeat that history?
Well, I want to repeat a history. Now listen to my English. I want to repeat a history of someone who goes around accusing people without any iota, without any fragment of truth. That's the history I want to repeat.
Okay, Senator, we'll be going to elections, I'm sure, in December. The 8th of December, we should be going to the senatorial elections. But there are concerns about violence, especially you witnessed, I'm sure, if you didn't witness, but you read about the CPP primaries, which took place in Nimba County, where it was marked about violence. And people are being concerned that we go through the process without violence at all. How do you think, what's your own analysis as to how do you think we can really avoid some of this sort of violence popping up, especially during the process?
Well, before I go to CPP primary in Ganta, let me give you a little history of what political violence has been in other countries. In 1968, the Democratic Party of the United States was having its convention in Chicago. At that time, Barry Goldwater, who turned out to be a Republican later on, was one of the contestants. And in that primary, there were a lot of disagreement, including throwing chairs here and there. So people going to political primary and having disagreement and throwing chairs here and there is nothing new to the political processes around the world. So CPP is not the only political organization whose members are...
So you are insinuating that we practice that?
No, I'm saying these things happen in political assemblies. So CPP is not the first.
But should they be accepted?
Even when I was in the CDC, there were many times we went to convention, there was confusion. Some people fought, but we still had the
You
party
seem to
going.
be giving justification to
I'm giving
political
justification
violence.
to the fact that no, not political violence, but there can be disagreement in political assemblies. I don't know about political violence, but there can be disagreement in political assemblies. Sometimes,
Which will culminate into violence.
yeah,
Political violence.
If it accumulates the violence, it should not be that way. We should pursue a political process where there will be a competition of ideas, where there will be civility, where there will be mutually beneficial interactions amongst political leaders. It should not be violence. I wasn't in Nima. I didn't see the photos you're talking about. I heard about it on radio. Some newscasters talking on the radio. But whichever way, I am saying there has to be the kind of cordiality among political people, even if you are competing on the same thing. And this is one of the reasons I have a huge respect for Mambudu Nyepa. We all prayed. He's not too well. We pray that God will bring him back to us in the same manner, shape, and form he left from here. But when Mambudu and myself were in the campaign in Sano, there were no instance of violence. Oh, we had sharp exchanges from place to place. But violence, we never got into that. So I don't believe in political violence. And I'm sure you don't believe in political violence. And, you know, I believe that the way the country is proceeding, all of us are on an obligation to do all we can so that violence does not ensue in what is about to happen between now and December 8th.
That's a legal challenge we are hearing about. I'm sure finally, so I'll open the lines briefly. I hope that LBS can just give us 5 minutes on top of our time. There's this legal challenge that we're hearing about from the opposition bloc, putting a challenge to the voter update process, which has started already. What do you think, given the history of this country where those sort of disagreement have spoken negative of our history? What do you think about the opposition bloc?
But the question is not complete. Why did those parties go to court? You didn't ask that in the question. They went to court because empirically, there were trucks that were used to truck voters from one political jurisdiction to the other.
Repeatedly.
Well, I said empirically.
Okay.
The evidence was there. Where police officers were guarding those trucks into that jurisdiction where people were being trucked to. Now, so look, these are issues that border security of the country. And when I'm discussing them with our projects, but when it comes to security issue, I'm very careful what I say. What does it tell the people of community A, where someone has been in charge of that community for a certain period of time, and that person attempts to seek reapprobation, and because that person hasn't done much in community A, and is convinced that the people there will not reapprobate him or her, that person comes to another political subdivision and loads trucks of human beings and truck them to that place where he knows he has been leading the people and has not done anything. So that people who don't belong to that jurisdiction may be the one to decide for those who are there. That is not a good political practice. It invites chaos, it invites confusion. That's why I'm saying you didn't end the question. Why did the people go to court? Now see what was happening. Now this is very dangerous. Even in Cape Mount, the pictures that were shown, some of the candidates went into Sierra Leone and brought in foreign nationals to decide for a Liberian political process. And people are saying that somebody should not have gone to court. Somebody should have gone to court. I'm glad some people went to court to correct it. And I hope we approach them with an open mind. Now they say, oh, they want to belong to the party, or they want to belong to that party. Why he talk whoever they want, he talk whoever that one. The issue should not have been that way. You cannot, and you ought not to, take people from one jurisdiction to the other only because you are convinced that those that you've been leading for years will no longer send you back.
Okay, you're listening to Senator Milton Teahjay. Just few calls quickly, and then we'll wrap it up. 0776089713, or better still 0880514096. That's the numbers to call, and then you are live on the bumper show. 0776089713, or better still 0880514096. Your name quickly. Yes, sir. Okay, quickly.
Yeah, I follow the senator carefully, and one comment he made is that the caucus, the organization of the caucus, the nature is social political. So it means that he's telling us it's unconstitutional. And why it is true that it's social political, you should know that in the context of the caucus, no one is an island. In terms of development, in terms of improving the economic life of the people. No one is an island. So the people who represent the particular country, they come together collectively. They respecting, in this regard of their political ideologies, but they come together in the interest of the people that they represent. This is why it is important that what you describe the social political clause to be in place. And it's unfortunate that it is full term that you walk away from the full. You walk away from the purpose representing full people.
Okay, you made your points already. 0776089713, or better still, 0880514096. 096. We take just three more callers and we'll wrap it up. Quickly, this one. Your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Moses.
Okay, let's hear from you quickly.
Yeah, thank you for the station. So I love taking those journalists or whosoever people, but that would be the fact that every journalist or people around the year will be giving the fact for somebody that has somebody's character.
Okay, you made your point already. Let's take this caller on the line. Your name and where you calling from?
This is Thomas Berry or Sanoria in Maryland.
Okay, let's hear from you quickly.
Yeah, student of congratulating of Tottenham University.
Just go ahead.
Congratulations in advance.
Firstly, asking, there are several times we've been engaging concerning scholarship. One of being respond to students of Tottenham University as they relate to scholarship because it's clear that you are being paying school fees of students across other universities.
Okay, let's active this other caller. This last one, I'm sure. Your name and where you calling from? Yes, your name. Okay.
Thank you so much for the platform. I'm very thankful for running actively in the confines of our particular democracy. But when it comes to the tribal issue, it's very tricky. There was only 17 election I contested. The man contested number 7. People were bringing citizens who they claim they are from the living in the urban.
Okay. Let's take this other caller in the line quickly. The last one. Your name and where you calling from? Okay. Now, Senator.
Let me address
Because we have to go.
Yeah, let me address the one that has to do with the caucus. I think I've addressed it sufficiently. Now you talk about the constitutionality of caucuses. I've been reading the Constitution. I haven't seen anything about caucus in the Constitution, but it's a good idea politically for people who are elected from one county to work together in the form of what we call a caucus in this country. And I think, like I said from the beginning, I was a member of the caucus for a while. And my idea of the caucus was for caucus member to sit down and then define a methodology around certain programs that need to be done. That was not the case. And so I thought that I would go ahead and pursue this because leading the caucus has not done anything harmful to my work with the people signed up. Now, number two, the gentleman spoke about scholarship to Tottenham University. The universities that are named here, I didn't call Tottenham University. I think he's right, but Tottenham University is a government university that's been supported by the government of Liberia. I know people pay some minimum fees there, but this government has a policy now where it has now taken on tuition of state institutions, and that has been so for the past 2-3 years. So If there's a particular issue, like he wants a help on certain things, I don't mind listening to that, but
Okay.
I have never done anything regarding Tubman University.
Okay. Senator, thank you very much for taking time off your busy schedule.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure being with you.
Well, that's just how we go home on this presentation of the Bumper Shoulder. Thanks to you.